Hey everybody, I'm going to start a live show. I'm sure I'll wait for hopefully a few people to come in before we get started. And I'll try to keep up with comments. But Fitz always does these on his Hobby View channel, so I figured I'd tell you what's happening in my workshop. And then hopefully Terry will tune in or start a live show maybe next week. We are due for a podcast, so we should be getting that out to you shortly. But I have got a lot of stuff to do on my workbench, so I figured I'd see if anybody was out and about. Share me your stories of what you're doing on your workbench, and we'll go from there. I made no announcement, so hopefully people are checking in to say, "Hey, RC Roundtable's live." I could communicate and share with you. I see one person's joined in, but yeah, chat in the comments here. Let us know what's going on. I'm just looking at my live stream studio with EVMux, so may not be seeing stuff, fancy comments if you're in YouTube. But anyway, it has been a while since I have had time in my workshop, and it's a mess, if you can see here. And my goal is to get started on a project, or excuse me, let me try that again, finish a much overdue project, which is sitting right behind me right there. Can you see? Maybe I can over this way. Right there, I have a P-38 Lightning that has been sitting in here for probably 3 years, and my goal is to get it ready for Bomber Field coming up in September. So yeah, that's heavy duty. And speaking of which, I don't know, probably won't do this, but I will give you some dates for those of you who are watching after the live show. I'm pretty sure it's the week right after we get back from the Meat Fair. So let me pull it up. Of course it's not on their website. What's up with that? There we go. So yeah, September 17th through the 20th is Bomber Field. Well, we call it Bomber Field. It is, the location is Bomber Field. It's called the B-17 and Big Bird Fly-In. And hello, everybody. Hey, I see some people joining in. Thanks for leaving comments. Do my best to keep track. So I'll pull up Caleb's here real quick. So first attempt scratch building a Spectra glider. Oh, I've had a Spectra glider. And about to start a Hangar 9 P4. Oh, awesome. With E-Flight Retrax and a DLE. I have a DLE 20. I don't think it's in here. Maybe I see the wing back there. I have a Top Flight Corsair that runs a DLE 20, and it's really nice. Haven't run it in a while, so hopefully I haven't done any damage to the diaphragm in there or the carburetor. But yeah, that's a good motor. And good luck with the Spectra. I had one for quite some time, and I put a very old geared brushless planetary motor in it, but I had fun with that. So have fun with your glider. Winston here. Okay, on PC looking at OpenX Sensor. You'll have to tell me what that is because I'm not familiar with it. And then, of course, my buddy Fitz is here. Fitz, I did not get a notification, and I encourage you to reach out to Terry because neither of us saw it. And I've got the bell, the bell ringing dinging. I just did not see it. So anyway, let's see. Second attempt on the wing. So great fun everywhere. Well, good. Well, thanks for joining. Fitz, I am just trying to finish up the P-38. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but I'm sure you knew about it, the one I picked up from Bomber several years ago. And by the way, I've been working with my laptop for some time. So those of you watching, I'm currently using my Rode Go wireless, and I can't really do everything, to my laptop. It looks like it's working okay. Is the audio too loud, though? I noticed when I was doing some test recordings, it was pretty loud. I am sad to say that I had a lapel mic that I was hoping to work with this just to make it a little easier, and it wasn't working. So I may switch this out because the good news is that I think these work really well. I'm going to adjust a little bit. These work really well. They're especially good for microphones. The downside is they're on battery power. And I'm having to run two because this is the transmitter, this is the receiver. So I don't know how long they'll actually last. I'll give them about an hour and then I'll call it quits. So Fitz, are you in your workshop? Are you in your workshop working and you just happen to get the notification, or are you out and about? So, because if you want, I'm being honest, Fitz, if you want to join in, I'll send you the invite link, and then you and I can both do a live show from our workshops. I'm getting a beep on my phone here. Is it anybody I know? That's Terry asking if we should record tomorrow night. So I say it here, it comes out there. So yeah, we probably need to do that. So anyway, let's see. Oh, Adam's here. So I'm too loud, huh, Adam? Thanks, buddy. With friends like you, who needs enemies? Anyway, so let me start showing you guys. Let me know if you have any issues. I'm not going to walk far, and hopefully this is enough. But yeah, I'm really excited about this. It's troublesome, but this is they call it a Legend Hobby or Nexa model kit, and it's a very old. It's probably 15 years old P38 kit, 80 something, 82, 84-inch wingspan. I'll convert it to electric, and the Fitz says he's out and about, so no Fitz today. Sorry. But this is a kit I got at Bomber Field. A gentleman, unfortunately, had passed away, and his estate was brought to the field. And I have a good friend of mine named Mike who said that is for Lee. He was absolutely right. Couldn't get there fast enough with the cash in my pocket to buy this. So I'm excited. It is an ARF kit, but I will absolutely tell you it is far from an ARF. There have been a lot of modifications that have been needed. I am going electric, and all the equipment that I'm using is what the gentleman had already purchased. So the landing gear was part of the Nexa, right? Kit. It's an add-on. The motor is, I think it's a Dual Sky, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's a Dual Sky motor. And we'll see how it goes. I finally got the electric gear. Excuse me while I try to get this in there. Finally got the electrics mains installed pretty darn well. They're operating as they should. I've reinforced the gear there, but I will grab another piece shortly. So far, the only problem I've had with the main boom are the push rods. The ones that came with it were just poorly made, too weak, and actually too short. And the threads were too thin. Everything was wrong about the push rod, so I will change those out. I've got high-tech 645 MGs all around. And let's see, the big problem I had, or let's rather say the big problem with this kit. And by the way, those few of you who are watching, thank you for joining me, by the way. Please add any comments if you want me to change gears, if you have any questions. Feel free. I'm just having some fun in the workshop. I won't keep this very long. So, but the weakest part, if you go into RC groups and you look at this aircraft, the weakest part has been the center cockpit. Basically, a lot of guys I have seen share photos and videos. These just fall apart, mainly because you have the main gear attached to it. You only have one bolt here that's holding it to the rear, and then the wing slides into a little tongue groove here. That's all fine and dandy, but this fiberglass is so thin, and if you can tell, I have epoxied everything in there, including, and I'm not sure if you can tell, there is some fiberglass right here to strengthen this top piece. So everybody I've read that has this aircraft says you've really got to reinforce the stuff. So there is some weight added because of all the epoxy I've added. I use Total Boat. By the way, this is great stuff. If you're ever wanting to epoxy, I highly recommend Total Boat products. I've actually used this first time I used it was for a boat, my little tugboat. But you can get this on Amazon. I think this is a great mix. This one is the slow, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this is the slow hardener. So this is meant to do fiberglass and let it sit. I did purchase a faster blend. It's okay, but I'm trying not to rush at stuff when I'm trying to reinforce. But anyway, this has been a joke. The nose gear assembly for this is I think I've shared this with Fitz and Terry, but like the instructions are put nose gear in plane, and that's about it. And it's such a mess. So first off, the arm, I guess you can see now, there used to be a piece connecting from here to here. And the arm, the actual main nose gear, will not go through with a wheel into this compartment unless you cut that out. So I'm actually going to create a what do you call it, an arch or here, or put another brace down here to fix that so you can get this gear to go in and out. I think I'm screwed in right now, so I can't collapse it. But just, again, some of the things you have to do. And then I had to fix this wheel. I know this is crazy, but the wheels that come, well, it's a Dubro wheel, but the shaft on this thing is so freaking huge that no wheel has, let me pull this out. Give you a second. The wheel has an opening that big. It's crazy. This is how it came. Here's the main axle. And so I did some finagling. If you could tell, I've epoxied that brass tubing in there and on both sides. So it works really well. It's going to work enough for me. So it does spin. It is true. And then it screws in here, and you'll probably have to do some finagling to lock it in place. But anyway, just crazy stuff. And I'm sure everyone who's listening has had their crazy experiences with, supposedly a simple ARF, and it's not going together very well. And so I got to finish that today. This is a big hurdle because I've been working on it for a long time. Also, if you can tell, I'm going to bring this in here. There you go. I 3D printed a steering arm because the one that comes with it, it hits the side. The other one would hit the forward wall there. So I had to put an arm a little angled in there. This is my encouragement for those of you watching. Have fun with 3D printing. I'm going to tell you, I actually, you know what? I did my first stuff with Tinkercad. I know that's the basic stuff. And then my son, Austin, who was home for college break, he made this much better for me. This is probably the third version after we tweaked it a couple times. But now that I've got that, you can kind of see the push rod right there. The which one is that? Which brand is that? Goldenrod. It works really well. It's nice and smooth. It's not a lot of angle. It only stops right there. We go. But that's all you need to steer this plane. It's way up at the front, so it'll be enough. And I'm excited. I mean, I think that'll work well. And I was also happy that if I can get that in there, you can see the alignment. See where it had the original cutouts? It would have never been close to where it needed to be. So by working with Austin, there is no restriction. There's no bending of that rod. So again, things you have to do. So while we're just sitting here chatting, if you have any, thank you, Fitz Sullivan is correct. If you have any other questions or comments or things you've had to do odd to make a plane work, this is a great way to just bring them into the chat. And I'm not sure I'll go with this servo, although this works. I will have a dedicated steering servo so I can limit the movement on that without causing any binding. For what it's worth, this plane's pretty big. That's not a lot of weight. And it's just I don't even know where I got this. Power HD. Sometimes you just use what you got in there. I don't want to spend too much more money. So anyway, that's that. One thing I also need to do, I'm hoping the microphone's not having any issues while I'm walking over here. So I already showed you one boom. I still need to mount the motor onto this one. So the first one was just to make sure everything would set up correctly. It does. You can see the standoffs that I have for this. They work pretty well. I mean, it looks like all the cowls positions line up properly, and that's good. And I think all of this is tied up. I'll encourage you to go look this up online. So these are the internal flaps, the inner flaps, and it is a mess. I'll just leave it with you there. I have some photos that I posted on my build, but to get these two flaps to work, crazy mechanics on the inside here. And then you can see some of them that were duplicated on the outer wings. Give me a second here. Trying not to break stuff while I'm doing the show. Again, I wish I could have a separate camera, but look at all the mechanics that are involved to make these flaps work. Again, mechanical flaps so that they work together. You see that there are two push rods that push it down. It's fancy schmancy. And I think what I'll do, I know don't listen to this. There we go. So now you can see how that works. Let me know if that looks okay, if you need a better picture. So you can see how it pushes in there. It's a lot of work. I don't even know if it'll work well. There's some there's a little bit of movement there. So that'll be interesting. Honestly, it's probably more for appearance. I seriously, Bill Krantz, that is absolutely right. So if I can, I'll find the link to RC groups to find this. I think it's Legend Hobby P38. See if you can find it. My photos will be in the last picture of the thread on how to do this. Everybody's done it differently. This method worked for me. In fact, I think what I want to show you guys, what differs, again, just sharing information out there. What differs with everybody else is that normally you can see here, trying to think of how they had this situated before. I don't know. I'm just going to tell you what I did. Notice the push rod from here goes into the actual bell crank. The bell crank's plastic. So I actually made the hole, the connector right there. And it pushes, again, using this other rod, all the way back down. And works fine. It's very even. So had no crazy binding or anything. And that's what you usually saw when other people were putting them together. So yeah, the bell cranks are crazy. Thanks for noticing. But it is working. And as I mentioned, more, I think, aesthetics. It'll probably work a little bit when you have 4 of them going down. But honestly, it's just pretty flimsy. You can see it's probably just going to be pushed down. We will see. Now, let me try adding some positives. I have seen several videos of people flying these kits. I mean, people are still building them. They're still finding them. They don't fly half bad. And, the aileron, nice. Nice big arm there. So a lot of movement. We're good. I acquired a new Spectrum radio, an NX10. Excuse me, a 10 Plus. So hopefully it'll give me enough ability to mix and tweak each servo if I need to. Anyway, believe it or not, look up here with RC Rehab. Airlines have quite a bit of slack and backslash from limits. Oh, all right, that's good to know. Most of the stuff I typically have is pretty strong, and I think many of you will agree. Most of the stuff that's made today, if you have flaps, is a direct connection, servo arm to flap. This is just a hodgepodge. There are folks who are taking this kit and converting it to one arm push, but that's a lot of work too. Again, ARF turning into a custom kit. So for some of you who have just entered the chat, tell me what you're working on today. What's on your workshop? Anybody seeing my wing here? This is a odd, just off the top of my head. I love the slow stick. I don't know how many of you, can I turn it up there? There you go. I don't know how many of you have slow sticks. I have 4 still in existence. This is the rare blue wing. And hey, let's just go away from the P38 for a second and talk about the awesome slow stick. I think this is one of the, great kits from 20 plus years ago that people were, flying on brush motors. I have it on a brushless. I've made some modifications to the nose because I had a lot more down thrust, which I think it highly needs. But again, the rare blue wing, but I put ailerons on this one, and it's a lot of fun. Well, I haven't flown this in quite some time, and it's been hanging in my ceiling here in the workshop, and it fell on me today. So it did no damage. It was just dangling by the line. All the rubber bands came off. But again, good time to stop and share a slow stick. If you happen to go to a swap meet, if you find one of these new in box, just grab it. They are really fun playing. I have this one. I don't know if the other ones are here in this room, but I have one with floats. I had one with 2 motors, so I made it a twin, and then just a standard one. And I think I gave my standard one to my kids, so who knows where that might be. But again, what a fun kit. So now that it's fallen on my head, maybe it's a sign. So I may get some rubber bands out and rebind it because, okay, yeah, it's an orange receiver. It's been a while. But gosh, a lot of fun. And, while I can't take the wing off because of the way it's bent, but I've made some other changes to mine. I like a foam called CF88, discontinued stuff, but it's very hard. I've made bigger tail surfaces out of it, And you can see where I have like a popsicle stick to reinforce it into and this is the one that has the carbon fiber tube, guys. Um, and then move the servos to the back. That's another thing, that the stock is under the wing, but most people now move it to the back and then put a bigger battery in the nose. I digress. GWS did great with this. This is quite probably the Aero Scout of the early 2000s. I think some of you might agree. RC Rehab, you are building a quarter. What size is it? Quarter or third Cub? Have fun with that. I don't have any kit Cubs except for my twin. Is it back here? Have an old electric Cub. It's a twin. Be fun to bring out, but I don't know where it is. So that's my quarter. Okay, good. Yeah, Cubs are great. The Cub I do like to fly is my CZ Cub, the original, the first one. I wasn't one of the lucky ones who, let me put this down, who was able to replace the stock motor that they gave. I think it was a BL50 that was having problems with the original blue and white one. But I do have a new motor in it, so Cubs are great. And like I said, I don't want to stay too long. I could sit here and ramble about my workshop, and I think the goal here will be getting the P38 done. Right here, I'll touch on this. Because I don't do gear doors like custom gear doors, my only concern I have is getting these done. I don't know if I have my offset hinges here, but I mentioned earlier in the show that I've been dabbling into 3D printing. I've built several planes 3D printed. In fact, I have another P38 that my buddy Fitz printed for me, and I think over here I have another 337 I'm going to put together. So I like that, and so I'm hoping to custom print some offset hinges to get the gear doors for the P38 done. Do I have the instructions? Yeah, I do. Oh my gosh. See if you guys can see this. This is hilarious. Thanks for joining in my madness. But these are the instructions for it's like a plastic model. And we're talking about an 80 plus, inch aircraft that's supposed to fly. And the instructions are just hilarious. But when it came to the gear doors, you got to see this. They just talked about hinges. Like simple, I say simple, but nylon, CA nylon hinges, you can't do that. There's no way these doors would open properly with CA. This is not going to work. So I encourage you guys, again, share stories. What other kind of crazy instructions have you received? So it's absolutely not going to work. So I have to be creative. And in fact, here's another thing. Where's the line here? So they're talking about the gear doors and how you can use a spring to wrap around the gear when it retracts to pull it in and close it and so forth. And I think they actually tell you to use like a ballpoint pen spring to do that. Let's not, and do the right thing. Use a tiny, 9, 11, 18 gram servo to move those doors properly. Again, another reason why I got a bigger radio is to custom fit the travel for those servos. So it's a lot of work. I'm complaining about it, but it is one of those, you buy a kit and you really hope it goes together pretty quickly, and it's taking me a long time. But overall, the construction is pretty good on the physical part. I had to do some minor reinforcement on other pieces, but again, because the other guys out there saying it flies real well, I'm hopeful. Carlberg, oh, that's funny you say that. I actually have one of those, Caleb. My son acquired it from a friend of his whose uncle had built one, and you can find it on YouTube here. I don't know if I have the name in my head, but my son has you can check my YouTube channel, Yarsmythe, YARSMYTHE, or Rayviation, RAYVIATION. And I have some videos of him flying it. Really cool story. The gentleman built it. It was flown before with a glow engine, not in great shape. It had been in an attic for many years, and my son just said, I want to fly it. So we converted it to electric. Took it to a Cub event here in Houston, a place called Space City, and that was a blast. So that's a good flying cub, and he flies it so well too. Oh, Tiger 2. Hey, if Fitz were still around, I think we have a story coming up for you, Caleb. I think one of us has acquired a Tiger 2 recently. Um, yeah, you want to tune in for that? It's probably not going to be a live show, but maybe afterwards you can chime in with some ideas, tips, build things that we should change. I don't know if it's going to be glow or electric. I'm assuming he's going to go electric. Go Buckeyes! Hello, Peter. Thanks for joining. It's just me today. Not a big deal. I just wanted to come in my workshop and say hi to some folks, tell you what's on my workshop, maybe inspire some of you out there. It's like you're sitting down, you're like, my phone's got an alert from RC Round. What am I watching Lee for? I need to go build something. I encourage you to go do that. It is my goal. In fact, I'm watching the time because I'm not going to let myself stay on too long because I need to get to work. I need to get back to work and get this thing going. So I hope for those of you watching and you've seen this, when you listen to the other podcasts coming up from RC Roundtable, that you encourage me, send some comments. Maybe we'll do a live show afterwards to keep busy on it. So that'd be great. That's nice that you got one. Let's see. I got my hands on an OG Sky Tiger. Oh, neat. I don't know what Adam's owing about. Maybe because he's so excited to watch me today. But by the way, some news we can share for everybody. Fitz and I have purchased our tickets to New York. So we will be at the NEAT Fair, and I think I'm going September 11th, which is Thursday. And then we will be there over the weekend. So for those of you who are in the Northeast and you are attending NEAT, please come find us so we can hang out and say hello. Fitz and I are going to are basically just coming with the clothes on our back and anything we buy at Walmart. Terry's in charge of bringing all the aircraft, so hopefully he will have enough toys for us to fly. And if you are there and you would like us to fly one of yours, let us know. We will be happy to grab the sticks and give them a flight. I was thinking it would be fun if anybody out there is doing electric control line out there. I was hinting. I have an old Cox model that is electric, and I wanted to upgrade it. I was like, man, it's not such a big kit. I could actually ship it to Terry, and he could bring it. So maybe not. Again, got to get the P38 done. But I hope someone out there at NEAT is doing electric control line. I think that would be a blast. And while I know you're in the chat room, Adam, what are you doing today besides listening to me yammer on? And, are there any questions for me about anything you see in my workshop, any aircraft back there? And it's a disaster up there. And for some reason, I've got a lot of planes missing up there. Caleb, glider event in September. Oh, are you talking about Scott Black's event? Yeah, I would too. I missed going to Nats soaring this year because I had to go to AirVenture. I certainly love soaring. That's a big passion of mine. I'm trying to see if you see my gliders, the Olympic tails back there. And in my trailer is my new Malibu. But yeah, that would be fun. That would be a blast. So sorry I won't make it this year, but maybe I can tack it on to next year. FYI, Caleb, if you haven't competed in Nats, I don't know. My goal is to be at Nats next year because AMA is celebrating the 100th Nats, the official 100th Nats. There were 2 years that Nats was not running due to the war and I think COVID. So this is now the official 100th Nats, and they would like us to be there, myself and Fitz and Terry. So if we are, I'm planning, hopefully, that soaring reschedules during the time I'm there so I can participate and then go to AirVenture. Yes, Balsa Flyers. That's absolutely correct, Caleb. Yeah, Scott Black, great guy. In fact, big shout out for Scott right now. He's probably the one that basically encouraged me to compete. I was kind of nervous at first, but he was like, bring your son, come have fun. You'll have a blast. And I absolutely did. So thanks to him. Okay, Adam, what are you doing? You are laying in the pool. Wow. Okay. Let's see. Caleb, would you have here? I am new to compete. Oh, so I think I've made the point right there. Compete next year, Caleb. Seriously, sign up and go. If you've never competed before, most SIGs waive the entry fee for first-time competition entries. I won't say all of them, but I know that Soaring did, and that was awesome. And it's a lot of fun. And I came in last place in my division, so I have fond memories to take home, no trophies. And Austin won a trophy because he was the only junior member there. I wish there were more because it was that much fun. So if you know other glider pilots, Caleb, and if anybody out here who's watching, highly encourage you to do that. I mean, the best part I think of it all is that even though it's a competition and it's maybe not as uh, heavy, um, strenuous, evil. No, I'm sorry. There are a lot of other competitions out there where they're just so serious about it. They're not going to share tips and techniques, but the soaring guys would absolutely. They were very helpful to just go out there, stand next to my son, launch for him, give him ideas. Hey, there's a lot of guys over there. Yada yada. They want you to do well. And I think for me, although I didn't do well time wise, flying my dad's glider was special. Finishing a glider that my dad started and flying was special. But having Austin and I basically nail our landings was the best part. We were doing very well, keeping them within 10 feet or so of our landing spot. Not always 100. Some of those guys can nail it every time. But for me, that's kind of that lesson learned. You should always be able to dead stick an aircraft and get it where you need it to be. You're always looking to land. So there's my little PSA. What is Adam saying here? Can I come stay in the PP? Oh my gosh, Adam. No, because we're not going to stay there. Let's see. Oh, all right. Yeah, the Spirit is a good plane. I don't have a problem with it, but if I were to recommend a plane, a Gentle Lady or an Electra, well, I had to. I'm going to tell this story. I had two Electras, Goldberg Electras, electric gliders, and I still have the one my dad gave me. It's right up there, and that's a fun plane to fly. I had the ARF as well, and I was going to give it to the kids. I mistakenly took that ARF to Nats to compete with it as a backup plane, and we took out the motor and put it in a weight just to have as another plane that would qualify, and it flew like a turd for me. And then I let my son fly it, and he bet me he could fly it longer, and he did by like 1 minute. But he still beat me, and I immediately put that thing on the swap meet list and got rid of it out of spite. So I'm very petty when it comes to that, but they're good flying planes. I just think that one had some issues with incidents and so forth. But the fun thing is, oh my gosh, I didn't even get to say this. You're talking about having the Spectra. My son competed with one at Nats, and he did real well with it. So he enjoys flying it a lot. All right, so I've been yammering for a while, and thank you guys for joining in. Did anybody have any other questions or comments of what they're doing this weekend, or anything that's coming up that they'd like to share with other people? Because I probably should get back to work. I'm not gonna like Fitz where people are throwing out 100 questions. I just wanted to have a nice little fun shout out, share my workshop. Going once, going twice. I'm going to start seeing the number dwindling down as everybody knows I'm going away. I really had fun talking with you guys. Thank you for confirming the mic and stuff is working. So till next time, I hope to have you guys tune into our podcast. You can go to rcroundtable.com and tune in to the podcast with any of your favorite MP3 audio podcast players. And as always, send messages to contact@rcroundtable.com. Give us ideas, give us questions, let us know what you want to talk about. Either sometimes we get questions about rules and regulations. Sometimes people like to share what's happening around any events that are happening that they may want more people to attend. We're happy to give that information. And again, don't know what our schedule will be coming up for the next few weeks. We will be hopefully doing a podcast this week. We got Neat Fair coming up in a month. And then immediately after Neat Fair, Fitz and I have Bomber Field, and then we have Best. And as you know, hopefully some of you have been around long enough, Best is best. And I don't know if I can get Terry down here. I beg him all the time. But if not, Fitz and I will definitely follow up and give you guys a heads up of all the fun things that have happened. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks so much for joining me. You have a great rest of the day, and we'll talk to y'all soon.